Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode here on the 404 Not Found technical server. So today we're going to start off with a little bit of admin. First of all, please go ahead in the description and join our new Discord link. We have a new Discord. I explained in the last video why, and yeah, we're just trying to circulate it as much as possible right now. So if you could join that, please do. You can talk to us on there. You can see the progress of the server there. Second thing is, I want to address something that I know will end up coming up anyway. Is that which version we're now in? We're still in 1.17.1. We do not intend to update to 1.18, and the reason for this is we're not entirely sure on what's the best way to approach the whole perimeter issue. And the whole perimeter issue is the fact that in 1.18, all terrain below y equals 0 gets regenerated. All that bedrock gets replaced with deep slate and gets regenerated with the new caves. We haven't really decided whether we wanted to have a mod in place that will stop that generation, or whether we want to keep it all vanilla and go ahead with that anyway. But the issue would be that there'd be so many perimeters that we'd have to just basically turn into void perimeters in order to preserve them as perimeters as they are. Or we have to redo the perimeters essentially completely again, just for the next last few layers. But a lot of the perimeters are complete, so we don't really want to do that. We're going to wait till 1.19 to see how we feel about the state of Minecraft. So there is good progress at the main storage perimeter. The first part of the main storage perimeter expansion is now complete. If I get up the map, I can show you just how large it is. It's about 1.4 kilometers in length. It's very very large. In terms of distance on either side of here, this bit here is not that large. The main expansion is to the width, and the reason we wanted to expand it is because of this thing over here. Here you can see that we've got an end portal, and I can't fly into it clearly. An end portal is here, and it's very close to our main storage perimeter, as well as the temporary storage over there. And we've got a chunk loader up there because this originally was our concrete duper actually, but now we don't have a concrete duper because this is going to be the center portal for our main storage, and everything is going to be centered on this. So we have a bit of a flyabout. We can see just how much has been done. So there we go, and if we go this way, we'll end up getting to the world eater. There we go. Looks like this bit hasn't been removed just yet. I think DH said he was working on removing it, but he might be removing the other side. So if we go all the way to the other side, there we go. Okay, it looks like DH has been removing it. It took a couple of days because it took about 11 minutes to do one run. So it took a few hours to complete, and it only took a few days because not all of us could be on at the same time to babysit it. We did use XCOM's World Eater, which meant that we didn't have to babysit it. It could be AFK, but you do have to go on check on it every so often to make sure that the sweepers have not crashed. We do have other lives outside of Minecraft, so we can't always be on. You can see here that me and DH both have quite a lot of Obsidian mined. We both increased ours by about at least 2,000 Obsidian over the last few days, getting rid of all that Obsidian in this perimeter. But we were quite lucky to begin with, to be honest. There wasn't that much Obsidian in layers above. It was all to do at y equals 10 where we expected it. But the most important point for today's episode is the fact that this used to be the duper location for the concrete duper, and now that's gone. We do have a sand duper, which we have repurposed temporarily to act as a concrete duper, but we are going to need to build a new concrete duper. And I've recently designed a new concrete factory, and it is a 192k concrete factory. Going to use that. If you haven't seen that video, please go give it a look. It was released a few days ago at the time of recording. I would really appreciate if you check it out. It's a really cool concrete factory. It's my most compact one, and I had a lot of help from Easy. It was a design that was from him and myself. So I'm here on the 404 Not Found SMP to work on basically doing the new concrete factory and integrating it with the new concrete factory storage we're going to use. This is incredibly outdated now, so over there is my 108k concrete factory, my third version. This is now incredibly outdated because we've got versions which are dustless, more compact, less laggy as a result, and also doesn't use loads of zero ticking everywhere, so this is unnecessarily complicated now. And also the blast chamber is, whilst it's lossless, it is incredibly bulky and uses 4 TNT, whereas the new one, which is faster, 192k, but also incredibly compact and only uses 1 TNT. The redstone is easier to understand, it's a lot easier to basically maintain if there was issues. So this this occasionally breaks a few times because the detection system's a bit janky, and yeah, so occasionally it just doesn't activate properly and all that. Like over here, for example, you'll normally see there's a red. It looks like this was maybe okay. Was it okay? No, it wasn't. It's broken. So yeah, so that broke it, and then occasionally items blocks do just fall down, like here. So yeah, it's not great. The nice thing about this was just these soul sand water sources trick, which when you align the block with honey like that, it's partially in this water here, and it sort of floats along it. So you can send it horizontally a bit further, which was a nice feature. I did enjoy that. It was the most satisfying part about it. But yeah, now this is completely outdated, so going to be completely removing this. And then yeah, the storage. Basically all of these water streams and these item sorters and the box loaders themselves, they're all going to be replaced with a new one, which is a modified ×4 hopper speed shulker box loader that Easyjo has come up with, and he has provided me with the schematic for that, so I'm going to be incorporating that into here. This storage is actually just not very good for 108k because it actually can only do 54k per slice, and each of these slices here, well, I say slice per module, this module here is for one particular colour, and it can only do 54k, not 108k. And I did have an episode, or a few episodes, tackling this at the very beginning of the 404 series that I'm doing, and at the time I was told, no, we've got to keep these item sorters here. I was limited by that, and as a result had to work with what I had, and now we're paying the consequences of that by having to remove it all and make it faster. Going to go ahead and remove all this old factory stuff, and then remove everything above the decoration here, because we do want to keep this decoration, because the chest holes in there are going to be much more painful to take all the boxes out, put them into temporary storage, remove it all, then rebuild it back up, and then put them all back again. It's going to be just painful doing that, so we're going to keep that, and everything else is going to be replaced with the new factory and storage. There we go. We're now down to the bare minimum. Got the Obsidian platform, and then just the deco here with some of it left over, so I've left over the hoppers and the chests because they're pretty much the same. One thing we do have here are a load of lamps to indicate when they are full. I would really like to keep that in as part of the functionality. It didn't quite work previously, so the Obsidian one, for example, was completely broken, but yeah, I would like to keep that in. Another thing I would like to do is incorporate the Obsidian platform as an Obsidian farm with what I have at the moment. So I didn't do that when I was doing the original concrete factory because that wasn't the focus. The focus was trying to make a really super compact 192k concrete factory. Let's get the concrete factory in and see what we have to work with. So like I said, it's extremely compact. It fits entirely within a 13 by 13 by 19 volume. One of the main things that I do need to add as well, that I forgot about, is actually being able to toggle the state of which mode you want it in. So currently it's configured to be in concrete factory mode. If you want it to be powder mode, you have to then go ahead and close all of these all of these fence gates. But that you don't really want to do. You don't want to do that. You want to have it all automatic. You don't want to actually have to go ahead and do that manually every time you want to change modes. There's an easy way to do it. I'm gonna have a redstone block power the trapdoor. No, I keep calling it trapdoor. Sorry, fence gate. I want to have it power the fence gate, and we don't need to actually have a spruce. Sorry, we don't need to have a fence gate here. We could have instead a slab, because that will stop the block. So that's the whole point of having the fence gate here. The fence gate's there to stop the concrete flying out into each direction. Probably change these all to slabs, add in a system to turn it all on, and then work out a way or where we can probably have a player or several players standing to mine obsidian. And I have an idea already, and it involves the middle bit. One thing I did notice actually is that I left in this block here, and now that idea has already gone to rats if I wanted to do 4 players, because this is in the way. This keeps moving up and down, whereas everywhere else has got a block there. Anyway, we'll have a play around, and I'll get back to you once I have found a potential answer. So I have found a way to incorporate an obsidian farm into this concrete factory. Unfortunately, it did mean that I had to actually lower the concrete factory by 1 block. So if we have a quick look, you can see here that there's now this 1 gap in between, because originally these pistons were touching the obsidian. Now we've got the hoppers here. The hopper layout is a little bit janky, but it does the job, and basically got a player in all four corners mining away. There you go, and because the concrete's coming in so fast, it just regenerates pretty much instantly. So this is as close to 7,500 as you can get. The player's constantly actually mining the obsidian. The players also have full inventories other than the pickaxe they're holding, so as soon as they break that pickaxe, they can then pick up the pickaxes that are coming in from here. If they're standing right in the middle there, they can pick up an item when it gets into this sort of block here. And that is essentially how it works. So yeah, they're just cycling pickaxes all the way around this farm. And then eventually when they break, they'll pick up some of these pickaxes, and it can probably last this for quite a few days actually, because I think it's about 3.5 hours before a pickaxe will break for each of these bots. Got quite a lot of hours available to actually use the obsidian farm. At the moment, we can only use it with the concrete factory mode. I'm going to have it a setting or an option to just do it normally. So we'll probably have a separate or incorporate it into one of the concrete dupers we're going to use. This is it's really as simple as it gets, and yeah, we're starting to widen out a bit. I'm not too bothered about it being wide now. I wanted just the concrete factory itself to be as compact as it possibly could, but you can lower it down by 1 block and it'll still work. If you try and lower it down any further, so I did try testing out with lower, going lower down, it unfortunately doesn't work. You need to have it at only the height that is in the original schematic, or you can lower it all down by 1 block from the platform. And yeah, and if you do something like this sort of setup, you can have a working obsidian farm. And yeah, and then if we have an item coming in from the overworld to regenerate this platform, like an egg or something, I don't know, something that's easy to get, then it will come down to the center here. And oh, actually, there's something I do need to change. Actually, I haven't done that yet, but if I just go ahead and show you what I mean. Okay, so the only change I need to do here to get this to work with a item regenerating the portal, not the concrete, is I need to actually have a hopper minecart inside the obsidian platform here. So it's very simple to do. All you do is that, put the hopper minecart in, and then I'll break that just to get in and break the. There you go. This will then regenerate, and the actual hopper minecart will still be on top. So if we go ahead and turn this back on, and then get the duper to turn it back on, there you go. And then if I drop an item, so let's drop that. So yeah, there you go, it got taken up. Whereas if I was to drop it anywhere else, there you go, see, nothing happens. So hopper minecart doesn't get regenerated, it stays there. All you got to do to get it to work for normal items. And let's turn the duper off now. There you go. And at the moment, yeah, I could have a system in place with more hoppers here as well. So the only reason there's hoppers here is because that's where the line goes. Here the line moves across the other side purely because of this block here. It will get powered by this when the concrete factory and concrete mode is enabled. Yeah, because this activates the TNT duper. So that would have to that wouldn't work, which is why we've got this jank wiring going all the way to here. But yeah, if I add some more hoppers here for when we do turn it off and we just have the mine all the obsidian that's remaining, then I can go ahead and do that. So if I just add the hoppers here, that will be fine. And then let's grab those items. There we go. Anyway, so yes, to get them to sync up a bit better, it's better to have them mine out the entire platform first, then go turn it on, and then they'll be in sync. So to use the duper again. There we go. It's remined, and now they're pretty much like sort of in sync. They're like out by a couple of seconds, I think, either side. But either way, that's as close as possible you're going to get it to be. When you turn it off, just let them mine it all away, and then they'll stop mining, and then you can get rid of the players if you want to. The best way to get out of these areas, because you move these trapdoors out of the way, then you can jump onto the hoppers and get out. That's the easiest way to get out. This is essentially the farm down to bare bones now, and I've already incorporated a little bit of decoration with this colour scheme here. I'm going to go ahead and finish off some nice decoration, or nicer decoration anyway. I'd like to try and hide as much of this as possible from above, and then on the sides I'm thinking of encasing it all in a glass sort of chamber, which will hopefully look quite nice. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and do that. Actually, before we proceed any further, I'm just going to address a question that I've been asked on the 192k Concrete Factory video. It's a very good question. It's how do you achieve the floating water source directly below the TNT duper here? And something that I completely overlooked actually, the fact that, and I forgot that we needed this. So yeah, the reason we need this source here is because if we don't have it, the TNT here will get activated when TNT blows up here. So this basically cushions it, and this is actually really easy to achieve. It don't even need complicated update suppression or anything like that. It's just using a very well-known piston glitch. So let's get rid of this water source and have a look at what we need to do. So first of all, you need to basically have some space here, so break the block underneath here, and then what we're going to do after that is we're going to break the block opposite. We're then going to place the sticky piston there, and we're going to place some slime blocks, so we're going to have a slime block there, and this is all we need so far. And then on this side, you can do this differently however you want, but I'm going to just basically power it here, and now we have the piston extended. And then all we do is replace the water source, and we then go ahead and remove the power, and that's it. There we go. That's all we had to do. And now, as long as you don't update the water, so you don't place anything below it, you don't place anything to the side of it or above, so as long as you have the obsidian here already placed, you're fine. And then all you got to do is break this, break that, and then put back the blocks you need, which in this case was just these two. There we go. That's it. That's the floating water source. Okay, so I've now decorated the entire thing, and I've also added in a user interface so that we can actually turn the farm on and off, as well as activate the the obsidian mode, so which is where all the pickaxes will be cycled around. And this is basically what I came up with. So it's essentially keeping in theme with the storage over there. I've used less blackstone though, and I've actually incorporated a bit more quartz here, but other than that, it's pretty much the exact same. In here we've got obviously the platform, and then the concrete goes this way, and we've got a little indicator lamp as well, which will tell you if this is in concrete mode or powder mode. So then it's just an addition to having the sign over there, and then just got some stairs going up here to get to the sort of platform bit you can walk on here. Got the beacons as well, which we need two of them. We need regeneration and haste 2 for the obsidian farm. If you want to get into the bottom bit, which if I just quickly show you on the side, is actually encased in this black stained glass. To get in, you can just sort of drop in from up here, and that way you can get in and technically get out as well. And yeah, and then like I say, if you want to go into the to actually mine obsidian, then you just go down here and start mining. Right, and yeah, then spruce I've used here because it looked a bit weird just being kept as quartz, and this was spruce on the side. Anyway, that's that. And then like I say, if I turn on the concrete mode, everything gets activated, and all of these are then open. If we go have a look at the redstone, literally just using a powered redstone lines, there's not an issue here because we're just toggling the state of the factory. This is never going to blink or anything like that, so it's not laggy at all. But to keep everything in sync, so if we wanted to change it from powder to concrete mode whilst the dupe is running, we want to have them all the fence gates open at the same time. Got the instant repeaters here, and that's really all there is to it. And yep, nothing much to say other than that. And yeah, and then if I was to activate this one, I would find this going down, and it will activate the clock, which will do the pickaxes. And yeah, so we've got enough pickaxes for a single dropper, and then 3 hoppers worth. So if you use 4 players, it's going to be 4 pickaxes used every 3 and a bit hours. It's roughly about maybe 12 to about maybe a day's worth of mining. But yeah, that's really there is all there is to it. And yeah, now all I need to do is actually hook this up to the storage. But before I do the hooking up to the storage, I actually need to get the storage done. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, it's been a couple of hours, and I will not lie, I got very carried away. Actually finished the storage in its entirety, and I had a lot of help from Easy. He logged on soon after I recorded the last clip, and he helped with getting this all together. He was the one who modified these ×4 shulker box loaders, so they're all 1 width tileable full-time shulker box loaders. I believe the original one was done by Ken 2000. For some reason it didn't work in later versions, but Easy looked at it and modified it to make it work. I think anyway. I believe that's what he did. This is all now working, and I'll explain it all in just a minute. And we've also changed the decoration a little bit so that we've now got a way to get into the storage. So let's do that first. So you have a lift here, so if you want to get out, you go for that one. If you want to get into the storage, you go down here. Here we go. and here is the new central room. We'll probably put some map arts or some other things in here, I don't know, like just make it a little bit more vibrant. At the moment it's just plain wall, and then over here is where we actually get into the familiar part, which is, you know, the usual, where the chest holes, they're all the same, nothing's changed there. What has changed is this central pillar here. We've no longer got a water column going up to the shulker box input. We've now just got basically a glass column, decorated column, which will show you the items coming in into the system. So here's where all the items will come from the factory, and then there's also a loop if the items don't get into the hoppers immediately, and then they'll go up there into the actual storage. And yes, like I said, nothing here is really changed. What we've got now is some extra sort of controls. So over here we have a control for whether we bin the items or we let them loop. At the moment it's configured to be to loop them. We get no items despawning with this, so sometimes they do skip the hoppers, but they'll loop around and eventually get them way into the shulker boxes, so don't have to worry about loss of any items. And then over here we have different modes. So at the moment it's in powder mode, which means that the storage is configured so that it will send the items straight to powder. Now if you're having sand duped at the same time as powder, then it will still get to the sand, it'll just take longer because it's got to loop all the way around the powder first and then go to sand. But if you have it on sand, it will go straight to sand. And then we also got a option for the glass factory, which we haven't built up yet and we will build up eventually. I plan to tackle that after this project. Go back to the factory. So the items will come down this chute into the water stream here, come down here, make their way to this central column, go up into the storage up here. Now here is their first switch, so at the moment this is configured to be powder mode. If it's then sand, it will push this down and move this up and it will go straight to sand. And if at the moment it's just going powder, so well, concrete mode even, so it goes this way. And then we've got the next bit, which is done automatically. So this is connected to the factory. It detects when the factory is put into concrete mode or into powder mode. So at the moment it's in powder mode, so it's sending it onto the powder side. And if it's in concrete mode, it will send it this way, which is the concrete slide. It'll loop all the way around, goes all the way around there and back up here and then down here. And then yeah, so these are the actual slices. So they're ×4 shulker box loaders. It has to have a global clock. So here it detects when items are well, it does it up here, so it knows when there are items in the system. Moves these down, so this is basically an OR gate. And then we've got a pulse extender here because this box loader doesn't like irregular input, so we make sure that the clock, or the clock anyway doesn't like irregular, we make sure that the clock's activated regularly and not going to, and it always just on constantly whenever there's items going in, otherwise it will break horribly. Then over here we have an overflow protection, so down here we've got all of the hoppers which will activate the lamps. Now this is kind of jank, to be honest, because when you look at it, it's just got items going across, so really these won't turn on when this entire slice is full. For example, this will only turn on once this one's full, and then that one, then that one, then that one, then that one, then that one. So it's kind of defeating the whole purpose of this. But anyway, here's what it is. But over here we've got an overflow protection, so as soon as the shulker boxes are full up to this one, or as soon as this one starts to get more than just one or two, this will then activate this, which will then basically lock the input so that these will just fill up to the full and they won't cause the items to get put into the shulker boxes and no more shulker boxes get loaded. And so that's a nice little safety system we have in that case. And yeah, that's really it in terms of the main features. We've got a very large shulker box input here, which is just a series of chests, so all of these, that one's not full, but this one will be full, that one will be full, etc., all the way down, and that way we can have tons and tons of shulker boxes. But it will eat through a lot of shulker boxes, this entire system, because there's so many different types of things we're storing here. So like before, it's going to store around 3 million items. So this one, with our testing, with about 2 hours worth of testing, it's just already filled up one slice. And yeah, then here we've got the other slice starting to fill up. The Obsidian loader is here, and it's just a single shulker box speed one, and it will just bring up the items whenever they get sent here. So once the items are finished on either side here, they'll get sent straight here anyway, because you can have the Obsidian mode on. You can farm Obsidian whilst farming concrete, so we've got to have it always going this way. and any items that also skip the hoppers here will get pushed into here. And this is the sand side, so let's actually have a quick look. We haven't checked that out yet. Yeah, so here we've got another switch, which basically will send stuff to the glass factory once we have that in. Otherwise, it goes straight to the loaders. Probably going to have a safety feature in here for if items that aren't sand get through. And I'll worry about that when we get closer to actually doing the glass factory. But anyway, all the way this way you can get to the sand. I think this is the sand one. Yep, that's the sand one. And then you go this way, you go to the red sand one, and then it will go into the loop. So it goes against this glass pane, falls down here, and you then have your items going back into the loop, or if it's not on loop mode, it will then go to this cactus and be binned. So yeah, we could also just send it straight to the void, to be honest, but cactus would be quicker. So that's what we've used. But yeah, anyway, that's basically it. I've also changed the way the beacons are, so the beacons were a little bit different in the original one, but now they are a bit more symmetric and look a bit nicer in my opinion. Anyway, oh, and then, yeah, and there's the water stream for the obsidian. So yeah, once the obsidian, once a box is dispensed here, it will go into the stream and then put into the storage. Now, one of the things we can do with this stream is we can actually expand it to go further out. So I mean, this isn't the way, but you know, we'd move it around a bit, or we'll just have another input coming from below, because we are going to eventually make a obsidian pillar farm. So here we'll make a farm in one of these pillars on the SMP, and we'll then farm over 200k obsidian power, and yeah, we'll need lots of storage for that, so it'll go straight to this storage. This storage won't get filled by the platform, but one will run it for maybe to get like a double chest worth of obsidian, but once we want to get like the entire thing full, we'd have to use the pillar farm, but we haven't got the pillar farm yet. Anyway, that's a future project. That's going to be it for this episode, I'm afraid, because I have run out of time. In the next episode, we will start actually building this all up, removing the old stuff, and basically just getting straight into this project. And I'll explain a little bit more about the other things that we're going to do with the concrete duping in general. We have, you know, big plans, and I'll go into much more detail in the next episode, so please you know, stay tuned for that. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking it. If you would like to see more, please consider subscribing, and I will see you again real soon. Bye bye.